Welcome from the deep. I'm Mike the Finder.
And I am Book of Brett.
Yeah, we haven't been around the last couple, whenever. You know, I've been in the hospital. Brett's been sick. It's been a long few weeks. It's fine.
2024 is awesome so far.
So far, 2024 has been just one ball kick after another. So we haven't been super. We haven't been super consistent. We're gonna try to change that from here moving forward. And so we thought, what better way than to bring back some consistency than talk about a new Shudder original, you know, around here.
Starring actual people.
Actual real people.
Like what used to be A-list actors.
Stars of such thing as like Snow Dogs.
Jerry Maguire comes to mind.
Other things like that.
No dogs.
I have made it a point in the past to like make us watch Shudder originals because I am a big fan of Shudder, and I think that some of the stuff that they do is very good, regardless of how I feel about Skinamarink. A lot of the stuff that they do is very good, and they give a lot of opportunities to filmmakers that would not have these opportunities otherwise to get their films out in front of as many people as Shudder can do. So for the last week or so, I've seen a lot of advertisements on Instagram and Twitter and my email and a whole bunch of other stuff from Shudder talking about this new movie, Skeletons in the Closet.
Paid advertising.
And yes, and it's got Cuba Gooding Jr. in it. It's got Terrence Howard in it. And so, you know, it's advertised like, you know, like a real movie. Which is part of its deceitfulness.
It does give off the vibe of being a real movie.
The artwork and everything else makes it look like it's a real movie.
It presents itself like it super duper wants to. Then it is what it is.
So I think it's important, especially coming off of the Night Swim episode that we did last time.
Where you were all wrong.
Where everyone was wrong but us.
Where we called the audience incorrect.
Yeah. And we were correct in doing so, by the way.
Yeah.
Regardless of how any of you felt. But coming off of Night Swim, you know, one of the things we said in that was like, we've been trying to watch movies with a more open mind and going into films with not low expectations, but no expectations. That way, whatever it gives you, you're more open-minded to receive whatever it's throwing out there, right?
Right.
So when I went into Skeletons in the Closet, I had no expectations because I didn't know anything about it other than Shudder original. Cuba Gooding Jr. is in this. Terrence Howard is in it. And they've been advertising it, and it's got just a little bit of hype behind it, or at least it did when we watched it, and that was all I knew. So it was super easy. Yes, and it was super easy for me to go into this thinking like nothing about it. So
it's also easy to go into it with high expectations because
based on who's in it,
and then we find out that everyone else who's in it maybe isn't quite up to that task or up to that level.
So anyway,
I mean, this mom has one emotion and facial expression the entire movie.
We'll get there.
It's this.
So why don't you give us a synopsis of Skeletons in the Closet from 2024? We'll hop on over to the IMDb drive-in, see what they're saying about it over there. We'll talk about our impressions, and then we will give our final ratings after that. This one's gonna be complainy, just so everyone knows.
This is yet another one where I find myself dragging Mike into my angry movie reviews series.
Yeah. So why don't you give us a synopsis and we'll talk about it?
Sure. Skeletons in the Closet is an instructional video on how not to filmmake that I'm sure is already being shown to film school first years.
Yeah, this is one of the best examples in recent memory that I can think of like how to not low budget filmmake. So if we jump over to the podcast drive-in over here, Skeletons in the Closet from 2024. It is an hour and 38 minutes. It is a 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Sure does.
It was directed by Asif Akbar. It was written. Hang on, let me open this at a different page because there's so goddamn many of them.
Because it's a list for this.
The writing credits on this are Al Bravo, Joshua Cohen, Terrence Howard, Myra Pack Howard, and Koji Steven Sakai. That is a lot of fucking people with their hands in this.
Do you think the only way they were able to get Terrence Howard and Cuba Gooding Jr. is if they let them write their own characters' dialogue completely separately from what they already knew the other characters would be saying?
So it's like when Blink 182 wrote I Miss You, they went into 2 different rooms and just wrote and came back and put them together and whatever.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it was like. Like, okay, you guys, Terrence, you take your character. Cuba, you take character. The other 28 of us are going to go ahead and work on the rest of the dialogue. And then we'll kind of just see what we have. We'll kind of get like a Ringo and McCartney situation going on here.
Whatever comes out is what comes out, and we will edit it none. And so it stars Terrence Howard and Cuba Gooding Jr. and Udo Kier. I think that it's important. Didn't you say? I hadn't read this, but didn't you say the original director left or something?
Yes, he left because of creative differences. I can only imagine that he was trying to make it better, and that made the writers and the producers mad because then you'd have to change the whole fucking movie. I can only imagine that the original director looked at this and went, okay, it's got good bones, but maybe we'll go ahead and move this. We'll go ahead and move this around. No! No!
Quick, bring me somebody that will make this as shitty as I want it to be.
Yeah. Bring somebody that can't direct, who has no vision. I mean, this is the most and we won't get into it yet, but this has the most unmotivational, motivated lighting I've ever seen in my entire life. This is them going like, okay, we're gonna make it come in from here. Why are we doing Rembrandt lighting in a dark room that only has one visible lamp? 'Cause cinema.
Well, I would love to look and see what Asif Akbar has done other than this. He was born in Bangladesh and raised in Cleveland.
Fucking Cleveland.
Cleveland rocks. What are you talking about? So his previous movies are Skeletons in the Closet, Clown Motel, MR9 Do or Die, Mojave Diamonds, The Commando, Ace and the Christmas Miracle, which looks to be a Christmas horse movie. Morbid Stories. And it just keeps going on like this of a bunch of stuff that
Can we go back to Ace the Christmas horse? What the fuck, man?
Oh, come on. Everybody's got to have a Christmas movie in their lineup.
Right, but not a horse. I'd rather see like a Yuletide yak.
Oh, come on. This looks fun. It's about Christmas on a horse ranch.
Oh my God! It's by Lionsgate produced it. Okay, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing Ace the Christmas
voice
horse
of John Lovitz as Ace the talking horse.
What is happening? What is happening in Hollywood? What is going on? Are you guys okay? Are you all depressed? I mean, like, I get it. Drugs are hard. That lifestyle's rough. But are you okay? The Oscars get to you?
I know you can't hear it, but I really would love to hear it.
Easy, boy.
Dude.
Open your eyes. I'll just give him another Glasgow kiss. That'll fix him right up.
Oh, I know you couldn't hear it, but John Lovitz put literally no effort into that fucking voiceover that I just heard. Okay.
Is it a voiceover like, nay?
He literally, yes.
Like
that's about the amount of effort he put into it. So, okay, I don't want to shit all over this director. Obviously, this guy is trying his best to do whatever he has to do to make movies. That's fine. You know, it's far be it from us to shit on somebody trying to make movies and make art and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but it's a bad viewing experience,
This is the thing, is when we go back over to Skeletons in the Closet here, it becomes painfully obvious that this guy really... And like you said, the original director left, so maybe he came into a huge mess, and his name
That's
is
a good
on this.
point.
His name is on this thing, and he's doing the best with what he had. But again, this is the same guy that brought us Clown Motel.
Ooh, look at that. Look at that Diablo looking motherfucker.
That's Tobin Bell, dude.
Oh. I was talking about the guy in the Diablo hat.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He looks like a character out of like Diablo or
Diablo.
Diablo.
So yeah,
The poutine lovers Diablo.
Poutini. Like I said, far be it from us to shit all over this guy. He could have inherited a huge mess from the last director. Do we know who the last director was?
Nope.
Okay. That's fair. We'll probably, I don't feel like
Feels
digging
like
into
it
that.
might be by design.
Right. But anyway, I think that it's important to keep in mind that A, this is super low budget.
Yeah.
And B, all of these issues, it had 4 or 5 writers, 2 directors. You've got Terrence Howard, which was also a writer, so I would imagine that he's probably a producer on this, if I had to fucking guess.
He is a producer on this.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes on this movie that could have made it turn out the way it did, but all we can do is judge what's on the fucking screen and not base this stuff on the shit that's going on behind the scenes. So
that's the thing though, man. The shit that's going on the screen is a direct result of the shit going on.
It is, but
behind the screen.
you can't excuse what's on the screen based on the stuff that's going on behind.
Oh no,
because
this gets no excuses from me.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like
we're saying the exact same thing.
Yeah, we are.
I see now. We're
Yes.
saying the exact. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, never mind.
So what I want to do is I want to talk about your initial impressions with this. We'll talk about mine, and then we'll talk a little bit specifics. There's not really a whole lot to spoil here, so I don't think we'll need to even go into spoilers because there's
Which is going to make this
there's a shocking little amount of plot that is coherent in this movie, so it's not going to be that hard to not ruin it. Ruin is I use that term loosely. And then we will talk about ratings and all that stuff. So why don't you tell me how you felt about this movie?
Dude, I knew it was bad from the get-go. I knew this is going to be an absolute shitstorm from the get-go because we get this. I don't have an issue with like the animation or anything, but like with most things in this movie, it feels like there is no heart put into. Everybody knew what this movie was, and it feels like they were simultaneously on board to make the movie and off board of making the movie. I mean, there is a shockingly low amount of effort put into every aspect of it. The writing is downright fucking weird at times. The direction is basic at most, and that's why that's why I'm not going to say the director is a bad director. But the directing on this feels like he was just letting things play out the way it was going to play out. The lighting is weird, inconsistent. The color grade and color correction are weird and inconsistent. I mean, you'll have one scene where it's clear they shifted the lighting around too much for scenes like we'll have a wide, which is lit, and like most of this movie is lit like a comedy or a soap opera. Super, super low contrast, real even lighting, which I could get, I could understand at the very beginning. But first of all, the very beginning already feels like we're coming into act 2 of a movie that was never actually started. It almost feels like act 2 starts the movie, which is really, really jolting. But I could understand if at the beginning, if we had like this like super flat lighting to give like, character development, which we never get, and give it a more lighthearted kind of feel to kind of migrate into something a little darker. I could get that. But we don't get that here. Sometimes it's dark and low contrast. Sometimes it's really high contrast, or dark and high contrast, and well lit and low contrast. We get there's weird lighting choices. The scene where they're with the psychic and there is a lamp, you can see it, and it is hanging from the ceiling. It is off. And then there's light coming in from somewhere. Presumably a gaffer, because otherwise there's no natural source for this light to be coming in. It's almost like they really had to have everything Rembrandt lighting. It's like when we have scenes where, undershadow would have worked really well. We don't get that. Dude, this is the most oddly lit movie I've seen in a really, really long time. But again, that's not the only area where it doesn't feel like they put any effort in. Like every ounce of this movie feels like nobody gave a shit. It really does feel like nobody gave a shit, which is why I don't know who to fault for that. But probably producers. You can usually fault the producers for things that go wrong on a movie.
Well, I think that if we were to be judging this on effort, it's really hard to put the blame on one person, because not only is the directing pretty piss poor, but dude, the acting is fucking horrendous, and it's the lines they're saying too. So it's the writing as well. The script itself, but beyond the dialogue, the script itself is so fucking horrendous, and the conversations that the characters have between each other are so forced, and like a first grader wrote them. It's fucking insane.
That first scene at the bar where the bartender comes up to him and he's like, "Do you want to talk about it?" It felt like I was in Skyrim and somebody came up and went, "Hello, traveler." And and there are so many interactions here where, like, I know the term NPC gets thrown around in a very real world sense now, but these characters all feel like NPCs with a game or a situation that has no main character or villain.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the fault of the writing, because
100%.
The dialogue between the characters doesn't feel natural, and it feels like somebody sat down and like, this is what a human would say, and then wrote it down. And this is what another human would say back to that interaction.
It's the most Chat GPT script I think we've gotten so far.
Dude, maybe that's what it is.
And I really have a feeling that that's what happened. I don't know much about Terrence Howard and Cuba Gooding Jr.'s writing experience, but somebody done fucked up.
Well, I don't think. Let me see.
But it does. I mean,
Cuba Gooding Jr. is not a writer on here, but Terrence Howard is.
Oh, is he not? Okay. I thought he was. Either way, it feels very AI written. Like, none of this feels real. And here's the really interesting part about the aspect of it not feeling real. I just watched Eyes Wide Shut for the first time last night.
Oh,
or at least
really?
I started
For the first time? Wow.
I started it and then I fell asleep. But that's because I started it at 1 a.m., not because I don't like the movie. But throughout that movie, everything feels surreal. Like, literally, in a literally surreal sense. Like, in the surrealist mentality. This, and because the thing that makes it feel like...
You can't compare skeletons in the closet.
No. I'm not comparing them. My point is the interactions in Eyes Wide Shut also feel very unrealistic and uneven at times.
But that's done in a way that makes it the whole vibe work. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying is, like, even though it feels that way on purpose, this feels like that kind of same... the context of, like, the same feeling as far as it being disjointed and unrealistic, except this isn't a dream, or this isn't supposed to feel like a dream. This is supposed to feel like you're going through a scary story, which it never is, by the way. There are no scares in this movie except for the scarecrow that comes on screen, like, real quick, and I couldn't help but think of Voldemort going, bah!
Yeah.
Like, there's these, like, real, like, quick cuts that we get with the Scarecrow. I'm not sure what the Scarecrow's significance was or what it was supposed to be personifying, but I feel that way about most of this movie.
The biggest issue with this movie is there's so much happening. There's the skeleton. There's the Day of the Dead lady. There's the ghost. There's the Scarecrow. There's the mother, there's the father, And then there's Terrence Howard, the brother, the mob guys, which never gets wrapped up, by the way. That's a whole.
Yeah,
that's
that
a
got
whole.
wrapped up.
How?
It got wrapped up because once she agreed to give up her life and Jenny's cancer was gone, that's when they said he's good. Because that actually took care of the problem, which actually is a major plot
they never,
hole.
They never
Because why
show.
would
They never show them tying all those loose ends up. That's my point. Is
no,
they do
like
this
most
entire
of this movie, you're told what to know.
They do this entire thing where they bring these mob guys in, and he borrows money. They show up to the house. This, that, the other. Her cancer
2 days
goes
later,
away,
by the way.
and then they never mention the fucking mob guys ever again. They don't.
Yeah, they do.
When?
Yeah, they do. They drive up in a Bentley. They drive up in front of the house in a Bentley, and then they call Miguel, and Miguel says he's good, and they say the cheesiest, most I've never sold drugs or done anything illegal line ever, which is, okay, we'll move on to the next one. Like they're Amazon delivery drivers.
All right, well, I'll take your fucking word for it, because I could barely fucking grasp onto anything in this movie at all. For me,
I mean, how was I going to rip it apart if I didn't pay
What
attention?
I want to do here is read my fucking letterbox that I wrote back on the 9th. This is poorly written, filmed, ADR'd, color graded, acted, lit, has poor effects, shitty jump scares, bad editing, and everything else under the sun a terrible movie could have, or not have for that matter. I had zero expectations going into this, and still, it was worse than anything I could have imagined. There's so much going on, while simultaneously having absolutely nothing going on. I fucking hated this. But it's not because it's terrible, which it is, but because it's fucking boring, dull, and dumb as fuck. I know Shudder can do better than this.
You know, it's funny. Two things bothered me the most about this movie.
Fucking ADR,
first of
dude.
all,
Oh my God.
the ADR was bad.
Oh my God.
They kept saying Santa Morta. It's Santa Muerte. And it was driving me absolutely out of my mind that they were doing that. Or not like doing it, but like that was happening. Cause it's like, it's just, it's such a popular thing right now. I think they've got like, I think the Santa Muerte movement has something like 12 million followers. And it was just one of those things where it's like, dude, this is the main antagonist of your movie and you're getting the name wrong.
That's because they didn't actually do any research.
That's what I'm saying,
They
dude.
just wrote it and assumed
again,
they knew what they were talking about. Yeah.
Which ties into my other issue, which is this is a really, really cool concept. The Santa Muerte concept is really, really cool. I don't know how much you know about it.
That I know a little bit about. I thought you meant the movie.
No, God, no, everything's awful here. But the concept of like Santa Muerte and stuff like that is really cool, and you could do it really well. But when everything feels so off, there's nothing. I mean, and so lackluster, so uninterested or uninteresting. Like, what did you expect to get here? Like, they could have had scenes where they go to Mexico. They could have graded it in a much more contrasty, darker way. Like there's so much here that could have been appreciated, and none of it's there.
The reason for that though is because it's a lack of focus within the script. Because, like I said, there's so much happening between the daughter's cancer, the dad losing his job, the mom going crazy with the ghost, the scarecrow from her past, the fucking priest who apparently saved the mom whenever she was a kid. There's ghosts, and then you
the dad that gets sandwiched in at the end.
Yes, and then the mob guys, and there's so fucking much happening in this movie.
Yeah.
None of it is explained enough. None of it goes in depth enough to make any amount of character progress whatsoever. And
there's no character development either.
That's because it's an hour and a half. It feels like they wanted this to be like a 2-hour movie, but had to cut it down or something, and they had to lose like a
first
ton.
act.
They had to lose like a ton of stuff. Well, see, you keep saying the first act. I think what they're going for there is they drop you in the middle of this story so that at the end, when they go back to try to double back and tell you what was actually happening, that it's a whole Memento type thing where they bring it around toward the end and shit, which is what they're trying to do, but it's done in such a piss poor way that it doesn't make any goddamn sense, and it does end up feeling like the whole first half of this movie is the middle of the movie. So
Right, yeah, and dude, that's how I knew what I was in for from the very, very beginning, which part of me appreciates. Part of me appreciates them letting me know right off the bat, hey, motherfucker, you're gonna hate this shit.
Well, and that's what's so confusing is why Shudder is pushing this so much. Like,
because they have to.
dude, I mean, they have, yeah, I guess.
They have
Dude,
to.
it's
If they,
so fucking bad compared to some of their other movies. Like The Sacrifice Game. We both
Yeah.
liked The Sacrifice Game a lot.
Yeah.
And that was a Shudder original. And they barely pushed that out at all. Like, they barely talked about that movie. And I've seen more ads for this than I ever saw for The Sacrifice Game.
it's like that grandpa meme for a horror movie. I'm gonna make a horror movie. Okay, grandpa, let's go to bed.
But it does feel like people that have no business making horror or people that don't understand what makes a good horror movie made this, and they were just like, we're gonna make a horror movie, and that's easy, right? Because it's because it's shitty horror. Nobody gives a fuck. You can do whatever in shitty horror, and we'll just throw everything at the goddamn wall and see what sticks. And it's
Look up the cinematographer. And I believe his movie is called As We Sleep. And just look at the poster, and things will start to make sense.
hang on.
And then show people the poster.
A lot of producers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and dude, this is what I'm saying. When you got this many people wearing hats, somebody's gonna fuck something up.
Okay, so the cinematographer here, Alex Salahi.
That's Salahi.
Salahi?
Salahi sounds right.
Oh, he's worked on Yellowstone. Wow.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing is like I saw
Project
some
Puppies
stuff.
for Christmas.
I think that's how people are getting their start now. I think that's what's happening. I think that's how people are getting their start. They're making Christmas movies.
I mean, none of this stands out real bad. I don't know.
I want to make a horror movie about, or a Christmas movie about the Chupacabra and call it Chris Macabre.
Yeah, maybe you could. You could work with this guy. That's shitty.
I don't want to do that.
All right. Well, I don't really have too much else to say about this, to be honest. This was just like, do you?
I do.
Okay.
There's one more thing I want to point out.
The wife, how fucking awful the wife is.
I told you, she's just like this the whole movie.
Yeah,
Every time.
She's the worst actress in this film, and I don't know how she got it.
She's well, I think the casting agent might not have been a casting agent. It's like, just get the intern, let him do it. She's pretty. I want to see her in the movie. What I want to talk about.
She's in A Cloudy with a Chance of Christmas.
God damn, dude.
She's not in anything really either.
Did they all work on these together?
Yeah, probably.
So no, if you watch Skeletons Up My Bottom for any other reason, or in the closet, Up My Bottom or in the closet.
Yep.
I was watching porn right after this, so I wasn't sure which one we're talking about at this point.
Same level of acting, funny enough.
Yeah, porn would actually be better somehow.
Mia Khalifa blows these people out of the water. It blows. That's funny. Okay.
Yep. So, if you watch this movie if you watch it for any reason, please watch it for the very, very, not the very last scene, but it's like maybe the second to third last shot, where we get this man on the porch who hasn't been in this movie. He hasn't been. It's not like we saw him in the background and we're like, hey, who's that guy? And then we see him at the end. It's like, what if we make a sequel? Well, how will we do that? Fedora Man.
And the best part is the snake guy at the end goes, "Don't worry, they'll be back." like to set up a grand fucking sequel. Skeletons in the Closet 2.
Like, dude, you're not the fucking Wishmaster. Calm down, okay? Like, come on.
But you're right.
But no,
the guy on the fucking porch has not been in the movie at all. It doesn't explain who he is. He's not like, he doesn't have something around his fucking neck that's like says "I am death" or something. Like,
right, exactly. Or he's not like twirling an onk in his fucking fingers or anything. It's just like he could be the fucking shop owner for all we know. He gets up out of his chair, and instead of just letting him like get up and walk off, which would make as much sense as what we get, they take a shot where it's clearly them having him walk forward and turn, except they cut out the part where he turns, and they just cross-dissolved from him walking forward to him go this way. Like, what the fuck? And to top off this shitty fucking editing choice, the camera just falls to the porch. Like, clearly the cinematographer was like, yeah, awful.
And then they
Shame
drive
on
into
you
the
all.
sunset, and Snake Man goes, "They'll be back."
Right. And what did I tell you over the phone? The CGI from Xena Warrior Princess holds up better than the CGI in this movie. I mean, the part where he's in the church and the shit starts falling down, it's clearly like clip art that they just dragged in, put a couple points, and they were like, fall. And he's just like,
and dude, the fire throughout the entire thing is green screen fire. You can literally, they didn't even key all the green out in it. So you can literally see the fucking green screen behind the fire. And it's just, it's just assets they bought for $5 offline. And it's just, dude, the whole thing, the ghost effects are really fucking bad too. That is clearly just, they didn't even blur the mom or anything whenever she's like popping up in front of Valerie, what's her name? Valentina in this movie.
Valentina.
They didn't even blur the mom's face. It's just her in front of a green screen, and they don't even really color match it. So it's like it's just her superimposed, like floating in front of. It's so
that's because they green screened her with super bright lights in a white dress. If you know you're gonna CGI this bitch for the majority of the fucking movie, put her in beige. Vanilla would have worked better, but white just absorbs all that green. But speaking of the mom, can we talk about why at the very, very end she looks like a person, but throughout the entire movie when she's, quote, trying to help, she's this fucking ghoulish goblin basically chasing her daughter. You're chasing your daughter.
Yeah, and instead of being like, "Hey, I am your mom, and I need your help,"
it's more like,
yeah. Oh, fucking hell. All right, well, give me your final thoughts and your rating for Skeletons in the Closet.
I feel like the steel book they bring out with this needs to be sold with razor blades and Ambien.
There's no way this ever gets a physical release. I'm calling it now. This gets,
you don't think so?
This gets buried in Shudder's library and AMC's library for all time.
This is Shudder's Song of the South.
I don't know if it's quite that bad, but
not for the same reasons, but still one where they go, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Fucking fuck.
No, Skeletons in the Closet is the worst movie I've seen so far this year.
Yep.
And it definitely, it's so bad that I'm going to retroactively vote it for one of the worst movies that we watched last year, because it's so bad that I don't think a month and a half is enough to contain the shittiness that we end up seeing on screen. I pay an electric bill that will go up because I watched it. It's not cool.
So what's your rating then?
Oh, this is a 1 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
No, I'll give it a 2 out of 10. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 10. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 10. Because I really can't help but feel like Cuba Gooding Jr. and Terrence Howard, something happened there.
Yeah,
something.
maybe they
don't
use this money to
know.
just like, or maybe they use this film to like just steal a bunch of money or something.
I think Terrence Howard made so much money off of
Allegedly.
Empire that I think he made so much money off of Empire he doesn't fucking give a shit anymore. I think that's what happened.
It's, for me, it is confusing why this movie exists. And not to mention how it got made, on what promises it got made on. And okay, I want to see, actually, now that we're talking about this, if I can find.
It does feel like this is one of those movies that was like discussed at a celebrity party under a head full of a lot of cocaine.
Yes.
And Terrence Howard and Cuba Gooding Jr. just that night just like, fuck it, I'll sign. And then they just sign and they wake up the next day going, oh no.
Lance Kawas was the original director.
I really just want to be in the room where he's like, I want to make some changes. And they just like kind of throw him out the window.
And when we look at his, hey, look, he also directed Clown Motel somehow.
Is one of them getting a job for the other one?
They did it together. Oh my God, they did it together.
They're the emo band of directors. Clown Motel was their debut. By the second one, they broke up.
Oh, fucking, and yeah, he hasn't.
I'll bet his creative differences were with the actor that or the director that we got. That's probably what happened.
Well, I mean, if they've worked together in the past, I would be willing to bet it's probably more of a producer or a Terrence Howard type thing.
You can always blame the producers.
Well, and especially, dude, on this one.
Those are all the producers.
Look.
For the audio
That's
format,
all the
Mike
producers.
is scrolling through what I can only count as like half a century's worth of directors.
Look at all of these executive producers.
Or producers. Executive producers. Oh, the ones doing fucking nothing. Fantastic.
Like,
Yeah,
I just feel like I'd be like, after I saw this, I'd be like, I don't want it. Take my name off that, please. I don't want to be remembered for this.
I got a couple movies out there where I actually made them do that.
Like, but fucking dude, holy shit. All right, well, like I said, I don't know why this movie exists. But as I got 3 to 8 minutes into it, I was struggling to even pay attention to it even a little bit because it's so fucking bad. The writing is bad. The lighting is bad. The camera work is bad. The acting is bad. The dialogue is bad. The script is bad. The plot is bad. Fucking dude.
I went and took a shit and let it keep playing.
The entire list of everything, of every technical thing that goes into a movie is bad in this.
Yup.
And
Yup.
like I said, coming off like fucking Night Swim looks like a goddamn genius made it compared to this. And
Because a genius did make it. A genius took a movie about a swimming pool that kills people and made it fun.
But see, that's the thing, is like-
genius.
Night Swim is not great, admittedly, but it's fun because it is a well-made movie. And this doesn't have any redeemable qualities to it. And so it just feels like this shouldn't exist. And somebody, allegedly, in my opinion, is probably pocketing money or something to make this work. Something weird is going on behind the scenes for this movie
you
to
think it
have
was-
any
do you-
reason to
you-
exist.
Do you think it was an insurance scam?
It might
Like,
be, yeah.
if in the contracts it said it didn't, because that's a thing where like if a movie doesn't make a certain amount, there are contracts where like if it doesn't make a certain amount, like people, that's how people make their money back. It's totally a thing. Maybe Terrence Howard didn't make that much money off of Empire, because I know the Jerry Maguire money's run out for Cuba Gooding Jr.
Well, and that's the thing, is when we really start thinking about Terrence Howard and Cuba Gooding Jr. and what they've done recently, there's not a whole lot that comes into my brain. At least known.
I like to think that Cuba Gooding Jr. took "Show me the money" and had to turn it into something sad to get it. Like, show me the money.
Well, I mean, if we look at his IMDb here, just as an actor, Life in a Year from 2020, which is a Jaden Smith movie apparently, and then there's a 3-year gap and he comes back for The Weapon in 2023, and then this in 2024.
Do we know what happened to Cuba Gooding Jr.? Because
I have no idea.
Like he was in a span of good movies for a long time, and I like him as an actor.
Yeah, he's in some really good shit. Not.
Do you think it was Q?
Recently?
Do you think Q got to Cuba Gooding Jr.?
I think whatever happened, it had something to do with Snow Dogs. But no, he's in As Good as It Gets, What Dreams May Come.
Oh yeah,
like Pearl Harbor,
dude,
Rat Race,
he was so
Zoolander.
Good in What Dreams May Come.
Dude, he's seen a ton of stuff, and then he just like around, let's see here, 2018, 2016, and it's more like 2015, 2016, he just kind of drops off the planet.
I don't know. He probably had some personal shit going on. It's not our fucking business.
I mean, that's fair.
I am curious.
You did ask.
I did. You're right. I did ask.
This is a thing that happened. But anyway, all right.
What happened to Cuba Gooding Jr.? Stop Googling!
Well, for me, this is a 3 out of 10. You know, I've seen worse movies. Thanksgiving comes to mind.
Yeah, but Thanksgiving knew exactly what it was.
Right. And we've said before that in order for bad movies to be fun, you know, the people have to try, and no one tried in this. That's the thing, is no one gave a shit. No one put any effort into anything, including the crew. And it just feels like everybody phoned in whatever the fuck this is. And it's just a bad movie.
God, we're going to get the Gaffers Union coming after us.
Well, then make a better fucking movie. I don't know what to tell you.
Libel's not liable unless we use a name.
In my opinion,
slander.
this is a shit
slander.
film, and everyone that worked on it should be
Yeah.
ashamed of making it. In my opinion. And I'm sorry that no one else, you know, well, actually, anybody that has seen this has very bad things to say. If we were to, like, just for instance, if we were to go to Shudder.
Shudder. Not Shudder.
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 If we were to go to Shudder.
Go to Shudder horror movies.
By the way, Shudder deleted my review of this.
Well, that's because you're scum.
But like, I don't know. A lot of people are leaving really bad. Trailer looks awesome, so we left 5 fucking skulls.
Die in a fire. Seriously.
Went in blind and enjoyed it. Worth a watch.
Came out blind, not too happy.
But, you know, I just feel like if you're enjoying this...
Wait, what are those 5 stars? Go back to those 5 stars. What do those say?
GD movie.
Are fouls that hard?
3/4 of the negative reviews below are the same people making 3 or so negative reviews each. Look at the reviews on other films. It's the same way. They bomb these reviews super negative. You can't even do that on Shudder, by the way. You can't leave multiple.
Well, it's almost like somebody doesn't like when you disagree with them.
I guess this guy did.
Well,
that's the only one I see, though.
3 of the same review does not nullify the original review. I mean, it's a dick thing to do.
A good cast. Definitely giving this a watch tonight. So he gave it 5 stars before he watched it.
Is there a follow-up?
No.
Get the follow-up.
This is the same guy that said trailer looks awesome. So he left 2 5-star reviews before he even watched it.
Cool. You know, if you review something before you watch it, you should have to revisit that review at the very end of the movie before it gets submitted.
This is fucking crazy, man.
Do you think those are all crew?
Acting and script is horrendous. You made a perfectly good Udo Kier right there, and you make this? He should hate you.
It is amazing how bad they made Udo Kier look. It's truly astounding.
Here we go. This guy's on the same page. It's given tax write-off. There's definitely
is.
allegedly
there's something going
there's
on here.
something going on with
There's something
with the
going
money
on
here
here.
or something.
Holy
And
shit!
they
Did
made
we
this
just
in
find
like,
our new?
You think they made this in like 3 days? Like they just shit it out.
I think
Absolutely
they
awful.
edited it in 3 days.
For sure. Dull,
I
not
think that-
scary, not interesting, bad script, bad performances all around. I don't know how movies like this get made.
I like to think that Cuba Gooding Jr. was just walking around taking a shit on set because he cared so little. Like, clean that.
Yeah, they literally did delete my review though. It's not here.
That's really funny. I love that for
And
you.
it was the same review as my Letterboxd. I'm just going to hang on.
Are you gonna do it again on the show? You're
On the
gonna do that
show
right now.
Yeah.
You're gonna. He's for everybody who's wondering. He is taking his Letterboxd review. He is scrolling to the top. He has now gone to the text box. He just copy and pasted it. He is giving it 1 out of 5 skulls, posting it, and we will have to see what happens later.
That's
Nailed
the
it.
second time I've now put that review in. We'll see if it stays up. Maybe it's because I'm cursing.
Just some admin at Shudder losing his mind like this fucking motherfucker.
It might be because I'm cursing. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I don't know.
Well, then stop doing that.
Yeah, I guess.
You could not curse
But yeah, this has 2 out of 5 on Shudder
for now.
for now. It
It's
was
been
3
out
out of
for a
5
week
when
and
I
a half.
watched it the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to keep going. You know, the director's just sitting there hitting refresh over and over and over and over again.
All right, well, this
Why
one
don't they love my movie?
we're being a little bit of haters on this one, and like I said, I know coming off the last episode where we're saying like we try to go into movies with open mind and all that stuff. Sometimes a shitty movie is a shitty movie is a shitty movie, and there's it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it, and we fucking hate a movie sometimes. We can't be positive all the time, and this is real.
No.
This is just a bad fucking movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's just a bad movie.
It does, dude. It seriously. It feels like a thing that somebody benefited from the failure of.
Yes, exactly. That's a great way to put it. So, have you seen Skeletons in the Closet? I know you haven't.
Yes.
It's fine.
Oh, them.
If you have, let us know what you thought about it, because I would love to know, if for real, if you actually genuinely enjoyed this movie, please tell us why. I am confused why anyone would.
Yes, and tell us which phase of rehab you're currently in.
So drop us down a comment below if you're into this movie at all, because it would explain a lot for us personally, and maybe we'd be able to sleep at night knowing why stuff like this gets made for people like you. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this, make sure you hit the like button. If you really liked it, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because we got a lot more content like this on this channel, and we should be back to a more regular schedule at this point, hopefully. We're both feeling better now. We were both sick, and it's just been
Dying.
Yes, it's just been a hard couple weeks around here for both of us. So thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time from the deep. Bye-bye.
Ta-ta.